Was good. Was good. So I was primarily looking at this number. I don't think you can see this right now. You can't even see it. Here we go. So this is the gap ranges, right? They're over 266 days. 111 of the gaps were within 8 points. Overnight gap, right? Closes at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Overnight drifts it up 7 points. And then boom, 8:30 hits. Okay? So it's like within 8 points. And this is now within 8 points of 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., whichever one is closer. Now, I was primarily looking at these two. I'm like, wow, that's a great percentage. That's 85% plus. But then I'm like, oh, wait. I mean, that's only 1/3 or a little bit more than 1/3 of all the days are less than 8 points. Do we want to limit our trades only to be within the gaps that are 8 points to have that 85%, that it will fill? Well, let's see. We're not trading the gap fill, right? Our strategy is the zone between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Whichever one is closer. Let's say 3 p.m. We're entering there. Our stop loss is at 4 p.m. close, right? So we have that little box. It's we don't want the full gap to fill. We only want a partial fill here, meaning it fills the nearest one, whether that's 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. doesn't matter. And I'm just trying to see here. So gap filled 8:30 onwards. Okay. Okay, so this one, if it's 8 to 20, look at that, 8 to 20, it fills the gap, 43 out of 90, but then 56 out of 92, it fills the most recent one. That means out of those 56, right? Out of those 56, let's say, 56 minus 43, 13 of them are partial fills. That's 13 of 56. Yield us a 23% success rate. That's iffy, right? So, which means is like, let's say open is right here. The previous day, 3 p.m. close, but then the 4 p.m. close is slightly underneath. We're going to take entry here, entry, stop. Okay. Right now, this is the big gap. Entry is right here. Our stop loss is right here, right? Now, let's say the market goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. Oh, it gets us in. If it's a big gap like this, which is 8 to 20 points, only 25% of the time it partial fills. It comes into my zone, does not get stopped out and comes up, right? Only 25% of the time that happens. So if it's a probability like that, we're obviously going to have to have a larger risk reward, right? We can't have a 1-to-1 with a 25% win rate. We're going to need a 4-to-1. It's 25% of the time we're going to need a 4-to-1, or if by chance we can catch a crazy runner, like a big day, rally day. I mean, this is a tiny zone, right? Days can have a huge. What's the ATR on ES? Can we get the ATR up, please? What's the daily ATR, please? We need this. Because I'm just trying to see what's the average range. I'm talking 8 to 20 points is the gap, but what's the average range on a whole day? Let's do that quick. Just grab that. I think I have it stocked. No, I don't want my own average. Yeah, it's on it. All right, 68 is the average range, right? It's been up and down, whatever. Average around 60s, looks like. So let's say that 60s. I mean, 60 points. This thing could, let's say, I mean, the gap is 20. Overnight is not more volatile than the day session. if we hit it and we actually, it turns around, this thing can rip, man, 30 points or so. And our risk on the trade is not our gap. The gap is 8 to 20. The risk on the trade, what was the risk on this previous one that we had here? What was the risk on this? Honestly, what was the risk? And it worked. It worked. But what was the risk? From the 3 p.m. gap to the 3 p.m. close to 4 p.m. yesterday. Remember, yesterday. So this big green bar is the 3 p.m. close. This 4 p.m. bar is 4 p.m. close. And the 8:30 hits right here, or right here, boom. And then it comes down and we get in. We enter at the 3 p.m. right here, and it rips all the way up to here. So, I mean, look at it. We're not going to say we take full profit every time, like get out at the top. I'm just saying let's try to find a good way to take profit. 3 to 1, 4 to 1, whatever it has to be. But if you look at this is 2 points, dude. The width is 2 points. The width is 2 points. Sometimes it can hit and we can hold on to this thing, and this thing can launch, man. I'm telling you, this is not even a big day. I mean, this range of this day is 20 points. The average range on the day is 60, dude. 60 points. So this high is, I'm not trying to yell. I'm just saying, like, this high is nothing. This is a very, very low volatility example. We can see a 60-point rip, and if we are in that somehow, some way, holy smokes. I'm talking this is halfway to the target. That's halfway. I mean, let's just say halfway. Let's say 30 points. What's 30 divided by 2? And it's a 15 to 1. That's a 15 to 1. So if you capture a 15 to 1, how often does that have to happen? Not very often. 1 out of 16. You have to win 6% of the time to be break even. So I'm not saying we're going to go for 30 to 1, or sorry, 15 to 1s. I'm just saying that I don't know. Maybe for this trade to be profitable, that's the only way to work it. Or are you going to go for just simple 2 to 1s or 3 to 1s? Whatever. I don't know. I'm testing it right now. Let's test it as a 2 to 1. No, let's optimize this. No. I got to look through a few of the trades before we send it to the optimizer, and the computer will do it for us, and it shows what the best profit will be. I have 2 to 1 in right now, 2R. So let's do that. It should trigger. Yeah, we're getting entries. I don't know why. What's the problem? Why is there only 2 entries? Why is there only 2 entries? 1400 should have been an entry. This should be an entry. I'm not actually sure why. What's the problem here? Why isn't this an entry? All right, we need to do some troubleshooting, mate. So, right now, the only thing I changed recently was this. Oh, it doesn't register near gap or far gap? Why not? It should have registered at 9. So, we're going to have to do a couple print statements, unfortunately, just to see where we are. So, right now, I want to do print if time is equal to 0900 and date is equal to, what's this date? Because we should have got in here. What's this date at 8:30? Boom, 5/7 of 24. So let's go ahead and do that. And date equals 1240507. Then print. Let's do a print statement of just, I want to see the near gap. And then I want to see the far gap. I just want to see where they have the 3 p.m. and 4 p.m.s. So let's see if it shows up in our print statement here. Oh, you can't see that either. Let's see. It's by the tick, yeah. So this is a lot of thinking, bro. ES has the most ticks out of all of them. A tick is a transaction. A tick is not if it goes up or down. It can stay the same. A tick is a transaction. There is a lot of transactions on the ES, dude. A lot. I think it's the most. It's got to be the most. I mean, it swamps. I don't know, NQ versus ES volume. Ticks are a little bit different than volume. A transaction can hold 20 orders, or there could be 20 transactions worth of one order, and they're the same volume. Okay, but the transactions can be quite different. Anyways, here we go. So 5207. This close should be 5207. Roger that. That's the near. Is that near? Correct. Far gap is 5205.25. Is that correct? What's the close? 5205.25. Then what's the issue? Where's our order entry? Let's go to order entry. If bar status equals 1, that means intra-tick, or intra-bar. Market position equals 0. Good. We're not in an order. We shouldn't be in. Hold on. I got to make sure we're not in at 5.7. Hold on. 5.7. No, we should be out of the market because we got in and we got out. Cover. It doesn't say how many contracts it is, though. Well, covered, whatever. Okay. If the close is greater and time is greater than or equal to 8:31, that's easy. That's for sure. And time is less than or equal to 14:30. Correct. Wait a second, 14:30. When did we get mate entry? 1400. We should have met entry at 1400, not 14:30. So we should be good. If close is greater than near gap, then begin. Nope. If close is less than near gap, then begin. That's where we are. Far gap minus the near gap is the risk. Hold on. Far gap minus the near gap. That's far gap is this one minus the near gap. That's 5205 minus 5207. 5 minus 7 is a negative number. That needs to be switched around. It should be near gap minus far gap. I'm not sure if that's really the issue, but we are going to do that. The troubleshooting part of this is just always, this is going to be another brainstorm for the another assignment for this computer to go through every single one of these ticks. It runs the code on each and every tick. It's a little much, but I have to do it that way. I'm not going to, this needs to be a quick in and out. I don't want to be in the market and then, I have to wait for the bar to close to be able to do anything else. No, we need this live in real time as possible. And unfortunately, that just takes a lot of processing. What was I just saying? Oh, yeah. So the risk box, let's just keep on going just in case this is not it. If the close is less than the near gap, then begin. Yep. If the close is less than that first line, that 3 p.m. near gap, which we marked down as 5207, it's less than that, then buy. What am I doing? Why does it want to sell short? Why would I sell short? No, we buy that. Oh my gosh, I have this all backwards, dude. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why I have it completely backwards, but thank goodness. Didn't we have it right the first time? I thought I had it right before. Oh, we have to make it think again. But I thought I had it right. Let's just go through it again. Close is less than the near gap. If the market goes below this first line, that's the near gap. Roger that. This a bunch of baloney here. Essentially just makes it rounds the number of contracts to what I need. So I'm risking $1,000 per trade. I don't want to be risking $1,000, and if there's a big gap, I don't want to be risking $4,000. I don't want this variety. So if it's like a $250 zone, we'd buy 4 contracts to make it a $1,000 zone. If it's a big zone worth of $950 zone, we only buy 1 contract. So now we're risking the exact same amount of money, essentially. And that's what this bit of code does. I do this on every single one of my systems because I don't want to be risking a random amount. I want to be risking the same amount. I want to be risking exactly as close to the proper amount as possible, because no one trade is greater than the other. If we get into the circumstance like that where I'm starting to stratify this out and make some trades are better than the others, like say the gap is bigger or whatever, then I would. But in this, I've never come into that circumstance. Every zone should be treated the same. So we buy number of contracts, whatever that number is. Next bar at near gap limit. That's correct. I think it should work. There we go. It works. All right. Now we see something here. So it works. It buys at that line. It does not get stopped out. It creeps upward for 2 to 1. That's 2 of these risk boxes. 1 and then 2 on top. Boom. It looks like exactly a 2 to 1. Perfect. So that's one successful trade. And what happened here? So now what happens here. It says I'm only thinking about doing this once per day. I never told the code that I don't want to keep on doing this. It bought and bought and bought and bought whatever multiple times because it didn't say, I never told the computer to be like, yo, one time, once per day. I don't want any more than that. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to tell them once per day, please. Once per day. So in our order entry block, we have all of this. And we're going to say, and once per day is equal to false. Then begin. So once per day is going to be a variable. So we throw up on our variables, and it starts as false. That's fine, because then we can get into the market. Yep. And it'll turn true. Once we get into the market. Okay. So remember, if we get, boom, we're in. Okay, we're in. Now, if we're in, now this is exit order. So if this says market position equals to 1, that means we are long. Go ahead and mark the variable once per day is equal to true. So now when it goes through the code again and says, oh, we meet the parameters, let's do it, I don't do it again. It says once per day equals false. So once per day equals true right now because you already did it today. Now, this does not need to be intra-tick, does it? Yes, it does. It does need to be intra-bar persist. That's fine. That just means the variable can be changed during the bar's life, not just at the close. Otherwise, if you don't put that there, these variables will not change. They'll be static until the bar close. So we're going to do that, but I need a way to put this once per day back to false. So at the end of the day, I need this thing back to false so it can properly go in again the next day. So I need an end of day. So if time is equal to 1500, then we can mark that down. So I'll just do that. If time is equal to 1500, then once per day is equal to false again. And then I'll just label resets the variable to take another trade the next day. All right. I think that's it as far as troubleshooting goes. Let's just look once and see if the troubleshooting has worked. We'll see. It takes a little bit. I think I'm gonna break the computer if I optimize it. I'm gonna have to go one by one. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Okay. Come on. I just want to see that this clump of orders is only one of the orders. That's all. That's all I want to do. There we go. So it's just one order. So we're doing it once per day. This is fantastic. Looks like we got stopped out that day. I need to label. I'm going to label these entries. And you can just do that by doing this. Label the entries end of day exit, or I'm going to label entries and stop losses so I can see it when we do it, do the optimization. So it looks like everything's operating correctly. Now we're going to go into the third and final step, optimization, and see what happens there. All right, deuces.
Get used to, but there's no man as terrified as the man who stands to lose you. Oh, I hope I don't lose you. Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got. Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got.
All right, deuces.